if you are in your late 20s, early 30s, late 30s, and you're single, you are somehow toxic. There's something that's not working.
That's not true.
You've been dating since you were 16 years old. Like now you damn near 40 and you still single. There is something wrong with you. Honestly speaking, when I hit 25, I was like, damn, there is something probably wrong.
This is crazy.
Maybe it's me being toxic.
Is this what I'm hearing?
But why? Men get married by the time they're in their late 20s, early 30s.
But
late
toxicity
30s.
isn't the only
It's not about
reason.
age.
Okay, but
Thank
I'm
you.
just saying, so you just being single out here for no reason.
Yes,
a man found a good woman, a woman found a good man, you just single and you're not
Some
toxic.
women
Okay,
don't
Danny,
want
there's
men.
not really-
Some women don't want
that's
marriage.
how I feel. Most women that I know that are in their late 20s, early 30s.
And are they successful and happy
They
in
are
a relationship?
successful in certain areas, but the relationship thing, I know why they're not successful because
Okay.
there's
'Cause
something
they're your
wrong with
friends.
them. And no, I don't know.
Because they're your friends.
No, I know there's men that I know. Okay, but okay, when you see a 40-year-old man that's not married, that never been married, never been in a serious relationship, you think there's something wrong
Why
with them?
can't he just choose to want to be single?
Okay, but like,
Maybe you don't want to get married or
the
something?
benefits, the health benefits, like
Loners.
look, there's literally
Health
one,
benefits.
No, not health benefits. There's some loners, but then also there are, let's say, a woman is not fertile, and let's say like she's dating a man or whatever.
And he want kids. She
You
could be
feel
single.
me? Then she gonna be single.
I get, but I'm not saying it's all people, but
Wait,
most
time out.
people
Wait, I
like
gotta go.
like
Too far
there comes
left.
to a certain
I know what
like
you're
where
saying.
you want
I
to
get
balance
what
with
you're saying.
someone
Let's
and you want to
go
have
for
that marriage with
You know
someone.
what? There's a
Let's
lot
not
of
keep it.
Wait,
Too many
hold
side
on,
combos.
y'all. Let's
One at a
redirect the
time.
conversation.
Yeah, we want
And let's
to.
stay-
Wait, just wait. I'm speaking. Let's redirect the conversation to talk about, are you too toxic to be in a relationship? Because we're going off on hella tangents right
Right.
now.
I got
Let's go ahead.
idea.
Can we take the 8 reasons
Yeah.
why?
Okay. So
Let
here's
them
some of the
hear it, please.
reasons that some people fail at their relationships, and with respect to toxicity. So we
Hey,
have
Danny.
we have lack of accountability. You want your partner to make you a better person. You have low emotional intelligence. I mentioned this earlier.
The safe space, Oliver.
There has to be a safe space to be emotionally.
Okay, back to it. This is a hot topic.
It really is.
Aaron is ready.
Thank you.
Finish up, Aaron.
Come on, sorry, Aaron.
And I mentioned this earlier, you walk on eggshells. The relationship makes you feel drained. One of the parties is a hostile communicator. So this is this is what Oliver was pointing at earlier.
And Danny.
One of the partners has controlling behaviors. And lastly, you're hypercritical. And I actually think hypercritical is something
I ain't gonna front. I'm
that,
hypercritical. I am.
that I think
I'm not
we
surprised.
really need to talk about.
I got the.
That's an official
Can I
list?
add one too?
Yes.
Can I?
And you own all 7.
Can I add one? Can I add one that's not on the list?
Oh, boy.
That made me, with y'all speaking, made me pick this up. You're toxic because you have a toxic group of friends outside your relationship.
I don't have no friends.
Not you.
You are my
You
friend.
said Danny. You said
You're my
you said,
friend. All
my
you
friends.
said that the people.
Yeah.
that Danny's their
Birds of a
friend.
feather flock together. I agree.
Yeah, or not.
Yeah, you are the
so
company you
let's be
keep.
honest.
Let's
fix
put it out
that.
there.
All went to school, right? So now we're looking at marriages. Is there any marriages that's happening? No, there's a lot of baby mothers that's not married, that are in a single relationship, raising a single child. So there is a lot of toxic people out
Single
there.
child?
Like, say, yeah, a lot of parents,
This is
a lot
gonna be
of
a long
women are
night.
single parents, right? No, let's talk about it. There's no marriages, or you see, or you want to come to my baby shower, or you want to come to my baby shower. Where's the wedding? Or we're not together though. So why do you think a lot of people are not together right now?
Hold up.
We live in a toxic world right now.
After we talked about the story, now we have to share how we identified the 8, and now how can we get out of that? We need a healing process, right? After we just the 8, what do we do now?
Honestly, I think the number one thing a person has to do is be self-aware.
I was just gonna say,
Like
start with
if
number
you,
one.
Yeah.
like the only way you can take accountability for your actions is being aware of the bullshit you want.
I agree.
You know, and you can't have you can't have B without A. I'm sorry. Like there's literally no way for you to not be cognizant of the bullshit you're doing and still call yourself accountable. You know, everybody has a journey. You know, no one's gonna make it happen overnight, but you got to start somewhere, and you have to take accountability and quit blaming other people.
Yeah, but
Real
you know,
talk.
sometimes too, right? And that kind of like is a very. If I had to take all of them, I could put all of them into that, right? Which I'm not gonna disagree. But now like the problem is when you put something at a very general topic, right? Some people are gonna say, well, how do you address, for example, there's some women or men who grow up without a dad and now are traumatized from whatever experiences that they had to go through. So it's like, well, guess what? It's not the fact that they're actually bad in the relationships. It's just the fact that their upbringing is something that is hindering them. So like, what are something that we can do, or what's something that we can say?
I just said it. You have to be aware.
No, but Rico's saying he may not be aware.
But that's
I get
You
exactly.
gotta get specific.
Listen, one thing.
When you go to AA, anybody ever been to AA, Drug Dealers Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, or whatever, the first thing you have to do is admit you have a problem. You have to admit you are the problem. You have to admit the bullshit that you want. No, stop it. No,
hold on one second.
listen, you literally, you cannot.
I'm gonna tell you why.
You cannot come up with a solution until you identify the problem.
Aaron,
What's next?
One thing, no.
Hold on.
What's next,
Hold
Aaron?
on.
You have to identify the problem.
What's next?
After you identify the problem, you mean?
What's next?
Then,
Yes, thank you.
then you either go to counseling, you talk to your mama, like whoever you have the issues with, you figure out what led to that problem. But you can't start unless you know what the problem is. Like you have to know what the problem is.
I get that, but what I'm trying to say is the problem, knowing the problem, you know how many people know they have a problem but don't know how to address their problem? That's what I'm speaking. You're speaking from...
No. Don't know how to address and don't seek out ways to address are two different things.
Okay, who cares? It's two things that happen after knowing the problem. I can have a problem like, yo, listen, I drink too much and I know I drink too much. More likely than not, people are honestly real with their problems with themselves. Yes, they are. They just ignore it. Right? It's like, yo, I know I'm a toxic, hostile communicator. Let's just say this, right? And I'm like, well, I know it. It's not that I don't know it. I know what I'm doing. I don't know what to do next. So this is what I'm asking. I don't need a blanket statement. Nobody needs a blanket statement. What's next? If I have 8 failed relationships, I know that I'm the problem. How do I fix my problem?
I went to get my hair done, and we started talking about relationship and what are you doing or whatever. And while it was brought to my attention, I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just toxic. And she said, oh, maybe you just got the wrong opponent. You gotta know when you dating, you gotta, like, some people date the wrong person. Just like Alan said, you know, you wanna go on party. Some partner just wanna party with their woman. And that's fine with him because y'all gonna party together. Some partner just wanna stay home. But like sometimes you get with somebody, you know you like to go out, but he like to stay in. That's gonna become toxic. Because he's not gonna watch you go out every night when he stay home. A lot of times we try to make things work. You know, and it's gonna become toxic eventually because y'all doesn't match each other energy. Y'all believe in different things. You know what I'm saying?
Well, hold on real quick.
Hold on, let me tell you something about that
Hold
one
up.
situation, Danny.
Mm-hmm.
At first, you guys are just not compatible.
Yeah.
Right? You guys aren't compatible. You guys like two different things. But if you going to continue a relationship knowing that he's this way, but you being you, gonna continue being the way you are, because you don't give a fuck what he likes or you don't give a fuck what he's doing, you're the toxic one now. You messing with him. You doing things that you know he doesn't like. He'd rather you stay inside. Maybe it doesn't have to be all the time that you have to stop doing what you're doing. But if you're going to be like, you know, I don't really give a fuck about this relationship or what he's doing. Not to say that you don't care about the relationship, but you don't care about, you know, mending something or, you know what I'm trying to say?
Curbing your activities.
Curbing your activities for the sake of your relationship, and you're just gonna do whatever the fuck you want to do, like just because, then you're toxic.
Wait. Hold up, Danny. Hold up. So I think y'all missed it. But Rico and Alan is saying
100%.
some people just don't know that they are doing fucked up things. So what we're trying to get to is how do we wake up? No, Rico said, hold up. Rico and Alan said that like some people just comfortable in their ways, right? And what's next? Like that's what it is. What's next? And there are some people that don't realize they are being toxic. They don't realize they're harming people. So how do we wake them up and get to the what's next?
Personally
so
don't think
what I'm
people
saying,
don't recognize
no, yes they do because there's
I
times.
don't think it goes
because
over someone's head.
Hold on, I'll let y'all speak, please. I'm gonna use me. There were times I didn't realize I was bringing the same behavior and doing the same thing. So for Rico, it's he picked up a book. For me, it took me wanting to listen to all all these women. Like Rico said, the common denominator. I kept going and it's like you get shot by a gun, right? And a bullet, you running, adrenaline. I'm adrenaline of toxicity. And then I stopped and I was like, oh shit, I did this. My blood has been dripping the whole time. So what I did was listen. And then with that information, I took it and I chose to be a better person. It is a choice. So sometimes you don't realize that you're creating this space of toxicity.
So I disagree with that. I don't think people realize the cycle that they're trapped in, but I do feel like people create this security blanket.
Can I ask
their
you a
whole
question?
victim. No, you can't.
You gotta let
There's
her
this whole victim complex.
It's not a victim, I just told you.
No, there is a victim. I said there is a victim complex that people hold within themselves to enable their toxic behavior because it is their defense mechanism. Like just what you said, like some men don't want to open up during arguments or whatever because they feel like it's not a safe space. Then again, if you were really solid within yourself and just within your emotions and what you're feeling, you're willing, like you're able and capable of creating that safe space.
How can they get there?
Wait,
because you put it there. Because you are big, bad, and strong enough to tell this person, even if they disagree about it, yo, this is my truth.
So easy.
It is so easy. Just like how we're talking right now. Someone can really tell you real shit.
I'm gonna speak to you one-on-one. When I was your age, I thought the same way. And I'm not saying that as a belittling thing. When I was your age, I was the worst version of myself.
Can we say, like, what's our age gap here?
I'm 36.
Well, when I was 20.
36?
I'm 36.
Guys, stop. Yo, guys, stop. Everybody stop. Everybody gotta talk one at a time. Seriously. Right? When I was 21, 22 years old, I thought the same way. And I knew what I was doing. I just didn't think it was that bad. But then when I realized and I looked back and did some self-reflecting and I realized the common denominator is me, I had to listen to a recommendation to read this book, to want or to seek out change because I wanted to change. See, the problem is people don't want to change. It's not that they don't know what they're doing. And it's not that they don't understand what they're doing. They just don't want to actually be different.
I agree with what you're saying. I'm saying people aren't aware of the toxic cycle that they're in. The continuous of each relationship, the 8 relationships, she was continuously doing certain behavior.
Jody, listen, I agree with Rico because people knows what they're doing. They just don't take accountability for what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, every man I mess with, they told me I don't open up and I don't trust. And the next person I start messing with, you don't open up and you don't trust. And I just keep going
so
and
it's
do
a
the same thing.
cycle.
It's a cycle. But the thing is, I know what I'm doing. Like Rico said, I haven't come up and be like, you know what, I'm going to change that. But don't ever think after a relationship, somebody don't know is dumb at the end of the day.
So when that significant other told you, like, this is how you are and these are your toxic traits.
Every one of them.
Did you in your head, like, for the next relationship was like, okay, well, now that's in my back of my pocket. I know that's what I do. So let me get myself out of this cycle, and now my next relationship is gonna look different because I'm moving different.
That's what I'm saying. I wasn't willing to change my ways and my lifestyle, how I believe
but
things.
Ultimately, toxic behavior is derived from just a defense mechanism.
But that's what I'm saying.
Like you're trying to protect yourself.
You don't understand.
Not always.
No, Jody, the thing is, I know what I'm doing wrong. Like Rico said, you know what you're doing wrong. After a while, after like 4, you should know what you're doing wrong. You know what I'm saying? But my whole thing is, I just wasn't ready to change that. If every relationship I go to, they'd be like, you know what, you don't trust. You know why, you don't open up. And I go to the next one, I'm like, oh, you bugging. I know I trust and I know I think that. And I go to the next one, I do the same thing.
Danny, would that be your same reaction after 7 failed relationships?
No, because I know I'm the problem, but the thing is I know I don't trust for real in life, but in my mind, I'm not willing to change that. Now I'm more like, okay, maybe I should be more open-minded. Maybe I should try and do this. You know, maybe I should speak about my feelings. Maybe I should tell a man I love you for the first time. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I should just do that and see how they feel. So at the end of the day, Rico is right, because at the end of the day, people know when they're not, just like you know when you're toxic.
Question. So let's kind of move the conversation along. So I want to, because we touched on this earlier, but I feel like there's a movement right now. You talk about this all the time. There's a movement about men having a safe space to talk. And I feel like maybe you and your friends are probably a little bit different from a lot of other men who don't feel like, well, I'm gonna say this from personal experience. My personal experience, I feel like, and this is with men I've dated, my brother, cousins, my daddy, like a lot of men just don't broach certain conversations because they don't want all the extra that comes with the conversation. They really just want somebody to sit and listen and digest and change direction. I think that's what we all want when we communicate. But I feel like men believe that women have a very hard time sitting, listening, digesting, taking that and changing directions. So I want you guys to kind of talk about men having a safe space and why men don't communicate because they don't feel like they have the safe space.
Can I go first? Because I'm already gonna be on the opposite side of you. I personally think, all right, I'll be honest with you. I also believe depending on where you grow up will also dictate the type of men you're around. Down south, men are a lot more lenient than up north. This is like almost a fact.
Lenient with respect to what?
Lenient and letting things go, being more nonchalant, being more, laid back. Up here, we are known to be more direct and upfront. That's what the tri-state area is known to be. This is where I grew up. I'm speaking about New Jersey. This is where I grew up, and the people that I've been around, all of them, from the ones that were my acquaintances and my friend and ones that were my friends. It's not even about not feeling that there's a safe space because of a headache. We don't even care about the headache because all of us are like, yo, this is what I want. And it's really gonna be this, it's either gonna be this or you're gonna be not. I personally believe that right now, especially with my age group and my age bracket of women, they are more so independent that they don't care to listen, which is cool. It's respectable if that's what you wanna do. So, but as in retrospect, when it's all said and done, you're gonna have a domino effect of a bunch of failed relationships because you weren't listening, or maybe, well, in this case, I should say, if you have 8 failed relationships, it's 9 times out of 10 because you're not listening or you're not receptive to listening. What I believe is you are not too toxic for love, even if you have all 8 traits of being toxic that we just announced, or even more, if and only if you absolutely value love, right? Because when you value love, you will do anything to change, to be in love or be with somebody that you love. The only thing that I can honestly say, and speaking for myself, I never gave a fuck about love. I never gave a fuck about getting married. I never gave a fuck about really keeping a relationship because I knew I could always have a female. It's not hard for me. So my toxic behaviors lasted so long because I didn't care for love. Until the one person that came in my life and actually gave me peace and showed me that, yo, you know what? Love is something to look forward to having. Now I took a step back. I started to realign and readjust some of my behaviors. It's a work in progress, right? But at the same time, now I actually value love to a certain extent where I'm willing to change because I care about love. We got a bunch of people who don't care about love. And they think that they could find love, they think that they could find love or find the same love in the next person. Yo, me and Amanda don't work out, it's okay, there's another one. And I think I'm gonna get the same love over there, but realistically, you'll never get past that threshold of love until you value love enough to self-reflect and change yourself for love.
I disagree. I disagree. Now, Danny, you've been going.
Go ahead.
I disagree. Oliver, Luke, disagree. It's more than just love. Some of the points Rico said, I disagree, but I agree with some points. Here's my viewpoint. You can't be too toxic for love. You can't be too toxic even for friendship. You have to self-reflect and realize, like, yo, what is going on here? Why can't get close to this thing that I'm feeling, this thing that I want? I am too toxic. This bag is too heavy for me to carry. So until I've worked out on myself, figuratively and, physically, I can now lift these bags. I can now, get acclimated in love. But loving myself says you can't be too toxic. You can get in front of your own way for you to get to your own blessings. So yeah, you can't be too toxic for it.
But you love.
But love, it takes more than just love, right? Because everybody knows in a relationship, It's more than just love. That's good, but it takes more than to love to propel and to continue and to continue.
Yeah,
and need
but-
other moving parts. But that's it.
But
I
no,
need you to come back. You say your
agree
part.
with you. No, I agree. That's what I was gonna say. But I'm like, I agree with you, Oliver, because I feel like we had a conversation, me, Alan, we had this conversation where I feel like I don't feel like I could be loved. You know, and then they're like, why you don't feel like you deserve love? I'm like, I don't ever feel like I deserve love. And you know, you remember we had that conversation, they're like, oh no, then you can't think like that. But that's how I've been thinking. I don't ever feel, I feel like, oh, love always hurt and I don't feel like I deserve love. So I always do my own, yeah, and you hug me, remember? And I always say that, and that's toxic for somebody to sit there and be like, you know what? I don't feel like I deserve love. So somebody like that is very toxic. Somebody like me is very toxic because
But Danny, what are you? Okay,
No, I feel like you're
hold
just
on. You
hurt.
realize
I'm not hurt.
you realize that is your problem, right? So what are you doing? And this is what Rico was saying. What are you doing, or what are you doing, or what have you done to combat that?
Right now, what am I doing? Right now, I'm trying to trust. I don't trust nobody. Nobody that I date. Only person I trust is my family and my close friends. I don't ever trust no man that I date. So I'm trying to believe, or this man could actually love me. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to really believe that, and I'm trying to open up to guys. Like a man will sit there and tell me everything. You, I love you. I want to do this for you. I'm there for you. Let's be together. And I look at him like, in my head, it's so messed up. Or you're lying. Ain't no way you love me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep having sex with you because it's fun, but I know you don't give. You know, like that's.
So what are you doing?
Well,
you doing
right now I'm trying to be more open, trying to open, like you know.
So what are you doing to
be
be
more
open?
open with my feelings. I've been trying to be more open with my feelings, trying to trust somebody could actually care for me instead of just me denying it. Oh, there's no way you love me.
Danny,
Oh.
can I tell you something?
Okay.
And this is going back to what we were saying, and this is something that they actually said is that doing things cold turkey is actually one of the most ineffective ways to be successful in overcoming that problem. Short story, right? And this is just to kind of give you an idea of doing things in increments, right? For a year and a half, I did not curse. I did not say any curse words. I started off by trying to limit myself for 10 curse words a day. Once I can complete that for 14 days, I knocked it down to 5. It took me about 2 months, and then I did not curse for about maybe 11 or 12 months after that. But it took time and it took practice, and I didn't just say I'm not gonna curse on the next day. It's 9 times out of 10 never gonna happen that way. So just going out and saying, yo, I don't feel like I deserve to be loved, I'm gonna just try to trust you. That's not going to be, the odds are that is not gonna be effective. You have to find something that's going to make you and allow you to take that first initial step. It could be a slow step. Sometimes slow and steady wins the race. You know what I'm saying? But you can't just dive in and think it's gonna change automatically. You're gonna end up repeating the cycle, and next thing you know it, you could be 45, 50 years old, still repeating that same cycle and just now getting it.
Well, Danny, I want to say that I think that no one is too toxic for love. Like, I was actually kind of on the fence, like hearing Rico, hearing Oliver. I was kind of on the fence with how I felt about it, but there are people like Danny that feel like they don't deserve love because of their personality, because of their actions. And we all know Danny. Danny will sit down on this couch and be like, I'm fucked up in the head. I'm fucked up in the head. Like, she says that all the time. And to think that she doesn't deserve to be loved, that's crazy to me, because like we've all been saying, take accountability of your actions, want to change. And if that's how you feel inside, like if you want to change, if you want to like figure out, look at the steps. Look at the traits of toxicity. Like, point out what you think that you have, like what you obtain. Try to work on it. Like, you do deserve love, no matter whether you hold 2 traits on there, 4 traits, all 8. Like, you deserve love no matter what. So take accountability for how you're toxic and change, want to change, and look for the steps in order to do so.